It's July now, and that's supposed to be the rainy season, and so it's time to be planting trees. We want to plant trees as early in the rainy season as possible, and we've been planting trees now for a couple of weeks. But we had a really severe dry spell. Some of the things that we put in the ground, within a couple of days they were dry. But we're trying all different kinds of strategies. These are jamun fruit that I collected along the highway yesterday, and they are wildlife food. Jamun is a very hardy species, comes from India, and we use it in reforestation. But the other thing I do, as well as broadcasting, in the mulch that's in the middle of the fire trace, we dig a little shallow trench where there's lots of moisture accumulated, and we put a few seeds in there, and hopefully they'll have a better chance of germinating, and we'll be able to then transplant them. This one is hog plum. Again, is indigenous wildlife food. Also makes excellent juice, excellent wine. Pumpkin, cantaloupe, poi bhaji. Getting a lot of moisture in this mulch. Good possibility of germination. We have a nursery at the camp, and we've been collecting the seedlings that germinated and that we bagged out, and we're using knapsacks in order to create a safe place to carry the seedlings, as many as possible, in as comfortable a way as possible. I'm also carrying some grafted fruit that we will also be planting along the trail so that we start getting fruit as early as possible, and so the wildlife will have something to eat. And what I'm doing in particular is planting mango trees at the end of each zigzag to take advantage of the water that's coming down the zigzag trail. Mango trees do not drop their leaves, they're evergreens, and so during the dry season they shade out the area. There'll be less grass to deal with when we come to clear during the dry season. As we come down planting, we will get to this one, so it will get used to that spot. And these are the lele seedlings. It's in the cordia family. It has a very distinctive leaf, a sort of frilly leaf. What I've also done is I've germinated some pumpkin seeds. Those pumpkin vines will cover this area and help keep down the weeds. They'll shade out the weeds. So this is a cashew seedling that has come up in the leaf litter, and I will then transplant that into a more appropriate area once it's got itself strong. This is a grafted pollock. What some people don't realize is that when you bury it, you shouldn't put soil up on the bark. The level that the plant is accustomed to, that is the level of the soil around. Molding up is only appropriate for certain plants like corn and tomatoes. They don't mold up big trees. Here we have a mango seedling at the end of a zigzag trail, and it's completely mulched, and also I've stuck some ferns in to give it some overhead shade. As it dries up and breaks down, we will continue to add mulch. When we're planting trees on slopes, we do a technique called an eyebrow terrace. In order to decide where to put our eyebrow terrace, when we were cutting this fire trace, we were only cutting grass and vines. We were allowing the other pioneer species, the broadleaf pioneer species, to come back, so that they now are offering shade for young seedlings. The black sage here, and we will put the eyebrow terrace under it, so it will give protection in the middle of the day. So we dig into the slope in a small curve and dig down, and then pull the soil forward until we have a little level spot to plant the tree. So what that eyebrow terrace does is that it catches the water, any water flowing down the slope within the width of that eyebrow terrace. That water will be concentrated into the area where the plant is, and then once we've planted, we mulch that whole terrace very, very heavily, so that the moisture is held in the terrace, the soil is fed, and the soil is kept protected from the sun and the rain. In order to really maximize the amount of water going in to the eyebrow terrace during the dry season and when there's not so much rain, is we're going to dig a little drain slightly uphill on either side of the terrace. So that will capture water that's flowing down the wider area of the slope and direct it into the eyebrow terrace. We have a couple of eyebrow terraces that have been dug and planted. This is a chenet, and we have a jackfruit over there just about 4 feet away. We're planting very close together because we want to create a canopy as quickly as possible. We want the two trees to start touching as soon as possible. When the forest is mature, we will start thinning out and giving different species more space depending on how many of them there are. So we're trying to even out the diversity. But presently we still need to mulch these so that the moisture is held in the terrace, the soil is fed and kept protected from the sun and the rain. Actually, there's another thing I will do, is I will put some plastic bottles around them. So when the bush grows up around and we're coming through with the whacker, we don't cut them by mistake. That plastic bottle will make a very loud noise as soon as the string comes close, so we save them from being whacked by mistake.